Ferrari has always been well known for their sleek and elegant body designs. However, what enthusiasts really like about the cars is their engines and the beautiful sounds they produce. Enzo Ferrari was well known for caring a lot more about his race programs and designing winning race cars than he ever really did about the street cars. And in 1953, the 500 Mondial was introduced, and it was a big success. It was raced in the FIA GT World Championship and races like Sebring. And it was built to compete in the 2-liter and under class. And it did very well. So this engine right here is a 1955 500 Mondial Series 2 engine. And what's special about this engine is it comes with all the internals and accessories. And it comes with things you don't really find anymore, like these magnetos. And the cool thing about magnetos, unlike modern cars, more modern cars, unlike distributors that need a battery and a coil to create the spark, the magnetos kind of run off their own power. So basically, if I were to take this off right now, no battery, nothing attached, and were to take a drill and have it, turn the drill on to spin it, it would create lots and lots of sparks all on its own and give me the shock of a lifetime. So this is just the kind of technology, it's, obviously not used anymore, so you don't find them anymore. So having things like this or the original Weber carbs on the engine still is very important and very valuable. This engine is a 4-cylinder and 2-liter, and Ferrari did some interesting things with their numbering systems on cars. So in past videos, I've explained how things like the 246 Dino or the 308s, their numbering system means it's 246 Dino, 2.4 liter 6-cylinder, or 308, 3-liter 8-cylinder. But this one's different. 500 Mondial means it's 500 cc's per cylinder times 4 cylinders is 2000 cc's or 2 liters. And then Mondial means world because it was made to race in the World Championship. So they switched around their numbering system once in a while, and it gets a bit confusing, but it's always, I love how they do it. It doesn't always make sense why they switch it back and forth, but I just find it extremely interesting. And, it's always that bit of history, like Mondial for the World Championship. When we get certain cars, or especially parts like this, it's always kind of fun to try and track down the histories on it. And my dad is well known for being a Ferrari historian, and he's part of a small group of other historians. So basically, him and a couple of the other historian buddies have been going back and forth trying to figure out the origins of this engine and some other parts that we recently took on consignment. And we were able to find out that this engine, we tracked it all the way back to when it was first seen at Luigi Chinettis' shop in New York City in 1964. From there, Chinetti sold it to a shop in California in 1977. That shop then sold it to Will Heibel in 1979, another guy here in California. Heibel completely redid this engine and put it on a dyno. Sadly, the dyno sheets are long gone, but we know when he had it in '79, it was a running engine. He then sold this engine along with a massive ton of other parts to the current owner, and now it's with us on consignment. Some of the other parts that we got in the large package on consignment is this 206 SP engine. And the 206 SP was a very successful race car that was built in 1966 to 1967. And it's branded under the Dino name. So SP in the name stands for Sports Prototype. And in my opinion, they are absolutely stunning cars. So this engine and this Mondial engine are just some of the parts we got. We also got there's a 250 GTO nose that it's a real factory, comes off a real car nose that we've managed to track the history down on. 275 alloy nose, SWB nose, 275P tail, lots of fun parts that going to the shop and inspecting all this stuff is one of the perks of the job, really. I mean, it's just a lot of fun to go kind of explore these parts and then go and dig up the histories on them, because part of the value of things like this engine, the 250 GTO nose, is the history. If you can't prove what they came out of and that they're real, they're not nearly as valuable. But the fact that we were able to track down the GTO nose, photos of it back in the day with the nose off, so we can prove that it's a real GTO nose, just helps add to the story and makes things that much more valuable. Both of these engines are valued somewhere in the six-figure range, which may seem astronomical for engines that are not ready to drop into a car and be usable. They definitely need, this one needs some internals, both of them need to be rebuilt. However, if you think about the cars that they come out of, both the 206 SP and the 500 Mondial are worth well into the 5 million range. So when you take into consideration the value of the cars these came out of, six figures for an engine is right on par with where they should be. It's been really cool to dig up the history, and I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing a bit about these engines and where they came from, because knowing the history on cars is what makes classic cars so unique, at least in my opinion. Modern cars just come off the production line, you buy it, you can race it around, you know, they're fun, they're great, but having a history, race history, and something unique like this is just, it makes it special and nostalgic. And that's why I love dealing in the older cars. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe and stay tuned, because we got lots more coming up real soon.